Hello and welcome back to Blame the Dice Wargaming. My name's Tim and today we're going to be unboxing the Republic ATRT. Now, when I'm doing this one, I'm also going to be doing the Republic one, or not the Republic one, the Rebels one. So that's the one that came out in our very first wave of expansions way back when this game first launched. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, I'll be clear with straight off the bat, is because one, I haven't done it before, and two, I wanted to see what they look like together, and three, this one does come with two pilots, and I'm cheap. So my plan was that I will put a pilot on this one and a pilot on my Rebel one, and I will run them both and save myself some money. Stick around, have a look at what this thing looks like. So here we are, we've got the two of them side by side, so straight away, not a lot to say that distinguishes them. Let's get my words out properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbox this one properly. We're going to speed through this one, I'll show you the content, but the main thing is I just want to show you the difference, just because I haven't done the unboxing video for this before, but also this thing comes with two riders and two leg configurations. So frankly, my plan is to use the legs, use the rider, and put it on that torso with its guns, and then I'll have two for the price of one and, well, a half, because that was like £7 from Amazon. So we'll get into this thing now. Let's have a look what you get. Instructions, cardboard base, one's through, so as you can see there's the two riders on here. Let's have a quick look at the detail on them. Yeah, very nice. I think the helmet's going to be particularly good. Check out this weird one, it looks very kind of like extreme weather or extreme climate, but this one looks almost like it's got a hood or a cowl on it. I don't really recognise it, but they're really nice, and it's great that you've got two different options. Point out you've got arms, so one of them will be holding on properly, another alternatively could be holding onto one handle and the gun in the other hand. Looking at the chest pieces, they seem to be largely what you'd expect. I can't see anything that makes them particularly different. This one here is subtly different. It seems to have some different lines on the chest and a more belt buckle looking frontage to the belt. Okay, let's have a look at the ATRT itself. So an awful lot of bits, much more than I would have expected. Your guns are standard. Interestingly though, they've made the rotary cannon have two pieces, so it's got a front end, which blows my mind slightly, but there you go. Two sides of the body, two sides of the back. Different leg configurations, so you've got options either way. Your feet are small and presumably configurable, but we'll find out. And some pieces here, I don't know what they are. And then, of course, your leg supports or pistons or whatever they are. But it all seems good. It all seems nice and detailed. Let's just hope the instructions are clear. So these are instructions. The riders are straightforward. There's not an awful lot to talk about there. And there you go, you can see the different configurations of the legs. You've got one where the right leg's forward, left leg's back, and then the opposite of that. I can't see the toes though appear to be mobile, not like that matters, but if it was going to be gripping something that might have been an interest to you. However, the instructions are a little bit more of a parts list. It's just not showing what to do with them. Now, I'm glad that I've got the other ATRT, because that at least does have instructions and I can go off that. I'm sure we'll be able to work it out. But it does seem like a bit of a swing and a miss to have sold us one of these and not said how to put things together or what order to do it in. So I'll be referencing these because luckily that is, whilst it's not as nice in terms of its visuals, does kind of let me know what things should look like should I need it, so that's quite handy. But also the parts much more simplistic. Here we've got our Rebel rider of the original one, and there's nothing wrong with the model, but the detail we get these days is much better. Plus this is in the old softer plastic. There's your guns and your pistons. I don't really think there's terribly much more detail in the new ones, but we'll do a comparison just because it's interesting to see how far they've come. But everything else is solid pieces. Two legs, the body, the front, and an aerial somewhere in there. So this one will take about 2 minutes to put together. The other one might take me about 20. So I'm going to build them both up and we'll have a look at them. So this is what they both look like assembled. This literally took 2-3 minutes. It was no problem whatsoever. The instructions were simple and there was no issue whatsoever. As you can see, I've stuck on my clone pilot. He fits fine, no issues there. So if you're doing what I'm doing and going cheap so you can have 2 for the price of 1, effectively, that works out nicely. Now, I'm going to put this to one side. This thing here was an absolute pain in the backside to put together. The instructions weren't clear. I was glad I had that other model to reference so I could see the right way around things were supposed to be. So FFG really need to sort themselves out with that. That wasn't a good experience for a consumer. However, I will say this thing, it was all small parts, which is kind of nice in a way if you want to paint them beforehand. But the main thing, the only thing I was really pleased about is when I discovered the toes and this part of the leg move. So I was able to put in this crazy dynamic running, and I'm really pleased with that, because one of the things I really like about this one is it's got the Scout 1, I think from the Clone Wars cartoons, and one of the first kind of, it wasn't the Clone Wars, but it was something else set at the same time. You see a load of these things sprinting, and I just love the visualization of it. Now this is still setting, so I'm not going to go nuts and pick it up and move it around, but I think the ability to have this thing looking like it's sprinting forwards to get to the front of the lines is really great. Now, what I'll just point out, just for clarity, is I have put on the heads from my ARC troopers, because that's what I wanted. Because the 2 you get with it, whilst they are unique and really cool looking, they are different, and I wanted to be able to have the pilots being the same. Essentially, that's what I'd like to have. Okay, now that the glue's had a chance to dry, I thought I'd pick this up so you can have a look at it, because I was taking a bit of a chance that it'd be able to set in that way. But I'm super mega pleased with that. Doesn't that look really dynamic? Really captures it sprinting at full speed. And like I was saying, because this part of the foot is completely articulate, because the feet and the toes can be moved, you've got lots and lots of options there. Also, if I didn't make it perfectly clear, I'll just take these out of the bag. You've got different leg options, so we've got a different left and a right pose. So essentially, you aren't stuck thinking, well, that's what it's always going to look like. In this one, this could be a forward leg, so it could be in a much more of a pouncing kind of pose if you were feeling brave. And the same essentially over here. This gives you slightly more of a natural pose, which kind of I think works backwards. So this one is the foot it's leaping off, but essentially really nice. So I'm just going to take the rider off, just so you can have a quick look at it. Now, if I'm honest with you, it isn't terribly dissimilar to what you've seen before, but it certainly is much smarter in the flesh. So all these pieces were individual. Nothing on there was anything other than one solid piece, which then had to be stuck to everything else. Really, really pleased. Oh, looks like that needs a bit of gluing. There we go, discovered that live. But really pleased with it. And in comparison to the Republic one, there isn't that much difference. Things are better, like the kind of things like the rivets and where you've got that kind of circular hole inside there. The details much crisper and sharper. It's like this has been sculpted, where the other one was kind of pressed into something. So whilst the overall impact's pretty much the same, this one has much neater edges. And I'll show you very quickly with the guns, because maybe that'll make it more apparent. So let me do these both the same way. So, I don't know if you'll be able to tell which one's which, but the one on the left is the one that comes to the Republic one. And essentially, just like I was saying before, just where you've got the squares, where you've got the notches, you've got the holes, everything's just that much more precise and more detailed. So if you were trying to if you were more, let's just say, anal painter, or you really took pride in doing things, the Republic one gives you that ability to do so. So what we'll do now is we'll have a quick look at the riders and have a quick look at the helmets that come with them. So here is your first rider. This guy has got very much standard kind of armour. Some nice details. He's got some like a bullet kind of, I'm not really sure what the right word is there, but essentially wrapped around his thighs. There's a nice bit of detail across the chest piece there, where it's got a split across it. And interestingly, it's got this additional kind of backpack which fits onto it, which I can't really see what its purpose is, but it does make them a little bit more unique. So whatever option you're going for, you've got some options there. And then of course the gun, the two, was it two black and a white or two white and a black, I forget. But that's really nice, and I think that looks quite well with the model. And here's your other rider, 2 handles. Of course, you could go probably either direction with these ones, but this is very much just looks like a regular clone. There's nothing distinguishable between this guy and a Phase 2, looking at him. Lots of nice detail there. Like I said, I'm going to go with the Phase 2 heads that came with the arcs, because that's what I'm going for. But what you do get with them is 2 heads, and I'll just show you these now, because these are unique. Now, I'm told, courtesy of the internet, that this is like the Phase 1 and Phase 2 heads. I don't actually know which way around it goes, but they are pretty cool. Let's try and get this in better light for you. 1 second. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. But essentially, that is reminiscent of like the the Scout Trooper I had one handy. There we go. That's kind of reminiscent of that. It's got the cowl over it. It's got the covered eyes and the rounded front mouthpiece, which is quite nice. Interestingly, it's got that weird point at the back, which is quite cool. Not seen that before. And some nice detailings around the back. Sorry for my camera work right now. I'm just struggling to try and get my arms to move around. Okay, and the next one, when I can find where it went, here we go. Now this one has a really weird dynamic. To me, it looks like a jowly dog from the front. It makes me think of some kind of animal. I can't really put my finger on what kind of animal, but that's what I see. But if it doesn't look like a dog to you, maybe it looks like World War II armour. This kind of seems to be quite reminiscent of something from like the German army, I think. That's at least my impressions. Somewhere between that and like the mud troopers that you see in the Solar movie. But those are the 2 options you get. So whilst I have elected to go with Phase 2 heads, because I had some from the arcs, you guys have the choice of those things. But a really nice model. I think it's really nice and dynamic. I'm dead pleased about it. There's nothing really wrong with this. So if you want to get one of those like I did on the cheap, and we can try and get some cards from somewhere else, you're going to save yourself a few quid, and you're not really going to ever tell the difference between the 2 of them. So these are the cards and the cardboard. Let's get them open and have a look what comes in them. So I've jumped ahead and popped all the cardboard out just to make it really clear. So this side we've got what came with the Rebel one, and this side we've got what came with the Republic one. Essentially the main difference is 1 less health token for some reason, which is fine. You get standby tokens, and also you get surge tokens because they were mechanics that didn't apply to the Rebel one at the time. So let's take a look at the card in a bit more detail. So for 65 points up there, we get the Republic ATRT. It's just the 1 model. It's a support unit with 6 health and a breakdown. These words escapes me, but a resilience, there we go, value of 4. It rolls white defense dice and surges to hits and surges to shields on defense. Movement speed 2. It's got critical 1, impact 1. Range 1 to 3 dice, that's black and 2 whites. Its grappling claws are 3 red with impact 1, and it's got the a comms upgrade and a hard points upgrade. A lot of that is very familiar, but we'll look at the differences in a second. Other things it has is the keyword, it's armoured, so any hits will be cancelled. It's a climbing vehicle, so essentially you treat its movement as if it was a trooper. It's an expert climber, so of course it doesn't roll any dice if you're clambering. But this one has Scout 1. So this one can get a little bit further up the field. So let's have a quick look at the other cards so we know what the difference is. So the Rebel ATRT is a full 10 points less. In terms of its keywords, we're doing this a little bit backwards. This does not have Scout 1. Expert climber, climbing vehicle and armour, it all shares. Its health and resilience value are the same, so is its defensive roll. However, when you look at the surge table, it converts to a crit. So its offensive capability is better, but defensively it doesn't surge. So the Republic one is going to be more hard hitting. The Rebel in this case has a 1 to 3 2 white, so essentially that's worse than the Republic because they had a 1 to 3 2 white and a black with critical 1 and impact 1. So these riders on their own for the Republic are probably worth it, and the claws are the same. And as are the upgrades, comms, and a hard point. So even before we start looking at the cards that come with the 2 units, I think it's clear to say for that extra 10 points, this ATRT for the Republic, 1 is more defensive, 2 scouts to get you up the table quickly if that's what you need, and 3 with it having a weapon that has impact 1 and critical 1. Okay, yes, 2 white dice and a black, so not a terrific pool, but I feel like these could run on their own naked.
where if you try to run the rebel ones, you're just running 2 white dice, and you're not going to get anything with those, and you'll just be trying to get into grappling claw range, which frankly you telegraph whenever you're doing that, and it's not like it's got charge, so you've got to be able to move one turn and then attack the next. So these are your hard points. They both come with exactly the same ones. All of them still have printed the casual play points value, not the tournament. So they all say their respective values of 25, 30, 35, where in reality they're all 20 points when we play them in a tournament. They've got the Flamer, which is a great weapon, really, really good against droids or anything essentially, because it's got spray. So for every model in that unit, it's 2 black dice. Fantastic, and it's blast, so it's really, really difficult to survive. And I think I've wiped full squads with extra units, so with an extra mini and heavy weapon unit just with one of those. Next up, we've got your all-rounder. You've got the Rosary Blaster, which is a nice round 5 black dice. Maybe not round, but essentially that's your all-rounder. It will bring on all comers. And lastly, you've got your anti-vehicle range 2 to 4, so it's got a bit more of a distance, which is good. Impact 3, so you've got a reasonable chance of getting 3 hits on that thing, and it's got impact 3 on it. So essentially, even though on the Republic one you don't have surge to crit, it doesn't really matter because you're only looking to surge to hit because they will all be criticals. The Republic version comes with comms jammer and link targeting array. So a comms jammer, essentially if you're in range 1 of an enemy unit, it can't be issued an order unless it's issuing it to itself. This is very, very useful for these ones if you're going to be running the Flamer, because you're going to always be running into range 1 to get the use out of it, and you can stop that unit from running away from you before you get to open fire on it. So quite a good one. Link targeting array is really good. I ran this to good success with the ATRT last week, and essentially if it's all issued an order, you gain targets 1, so you gain 1 aim token after you're issued an order. I found that really, really useful, and I was able to put through a lot of damage very, very quickly with that. The Rebels version comes with a comms jammer also, and a long-range comms link. So during your comms phase, you may be issued orders as if you were within range of the nominated commander. That's quite useful if you need to make sure these guys are activating. It can be quite useful, quite clutch, but I much prefer what you get with the Republic version with the link targeting array. So, really pleased with that. Whilst I've not done much experimentation with the list building side of things, I've loved building for the Rebels 3 walkers with flamers. They're fantastic. The same can be said about the Rosary Blaster. That's great, particularly if you're kind of going to advance and you've got a squad supporting with an R2 to keep on, so an astromech rather, to repair them. Both forces have access to R2D2 himself, so that's a great way to keep these guys in the game. So yeah, these are some excellent things. The laser cannon is something I've not really used much. However, I think I want the clones to have it because I want these ones to look like they're fresh, they're new from the factory, and every time you see them, this is what they're with. Anyway, that's that. I think these things are going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be running these 2 in tandem. I've got a game where I'll be proxying one tomorrow because I haven't painted this, obviously, and I will not run things that aren't painted. But we're going to see how it fares against droids, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the double feature, because I had an opportunity to do both together and to show you a way to save some pennies. But in terms of quality of product difference, whilst there is much more detail in the plastic on the Republic one, it's not so much like it blew me away. I had to really look for it. You can see it, but I think realistically they're both fine models. The Republic one is just going to give you many, many more options to position things how you want to, because, you know, there was leg options to go in the other direction, so this leg could be forward and that one could be back. So if you had a few of these, you could have them all sprinting in different configurations, or moving quite dynamically if you wanted. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Good luck playing them on the tabletop, and hit me up if you want to get a game. If you live in the local area and want to join us at the Blame the Dice Wargaming Wednesday night, where we're doing Use Our Stuff. So essentially all our various 4 painted armies and all our excellent Star Wars terrain is there to be used for anyone. And all you got to do is pay for the night, or you could sub for the month. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for the sales pitch. Hope you're staying safe out there. Bye for now.